Hello and welcome to Sherwood Market. Will that be cash or card? Oh, hi, welcome to Sherwood Market. Do you want that cash or credit? Hey Karen, I have a project for you. Oh, hi. If you can get that to me as soon as you can, that'd be great. Okay. Sure, yeah, I can work on that. I'll probably be able to do that sometime next week. I'll get around to it. I'm just finishing up this other project. Oh, 5:30 p.m. Now for my daily workout. Oh, hey boss. Hey Karen, I have a project for you. If you can get that to me as soon as you can, that'd be great. Oh, okay. Hey boss, yeah, I just got that project that you asked for done real quick. Yeah, here you go. Oh wow, Karen, you did that really quickly. Well, actually, yeah, here's another thing that I could really use some help with as soon as you can. Oh, okay, yeah. Hello, beautiful humans of the defined and undefined root center. This center is the center that convinced me that human design was real and that I should pay attention to it because I have an undefined root, and the amount of pressure that I feel when I'm around someone with a defined root is incredible. So this video is all about the mechanic that takes place between the defined and undefined root. If we haven't met, I'm Karen McMullen, the Human Design Channel. Welcome to my channel. Please go ahead and like it. If you like the video, please share it. Share it with someone that has a defined root in your life that you want to understand your undefined root, or vice versa, because the more that we understand this dynamic, the better that we can treat each other and honor our differences because they are real. And if you like the skit that I did at the beginning, I have one more that I have to share with you at the end, so you can look forward to that. And if you want to hear the longer uncut version of this episode, then you can go to the podcast version. It's called the Human Design Channel by Karen McMullen, so you can look it up on any of your favorite podcast platforms. The root center is one of two pressure centers in the human design body graph. It's located at the very bottom of the chart, and you'll see that it's either defined or undefined. The root center has to do with pressure to do or fuel to do. It's also how we handle adrenalized pressure and stress. So those that have a defined root have a fixed way of handling adrenalized pressure, stress, or another way to say that is they have a fixed amount of fuel for doing in any given day. They will have a pace, typically they'll like to wake up around the same time, and they have a rhythm about how they go about their day. And it could be that their natural pace is quite fast. It could be that their natural pace is medium, or it could be that their natural pace is slow. But whatever their pace is, they're going to really have this sort of rhythm about how they go about things. I know I've seen many of my boyfriends have had a defined root, and I've seen that they have their kind of way that they do, and it's consistent day to day. And even on a day where they're not working, they'll still have this pressure to do, this fuel for doing. On the other hand, the undefined root has a undefined, inconsistent way of handling pressure to do. They have inconsistent fuel for doing. So that can look like some days where they don't do anything, or some days where they do a lot. Really having an inconsistent rhythm about how they work. And in the presence of a defined root, that can mean that they have a tendency, especially in their not self, in the unhealthy expression of the undefined root, to take in and amplify pressure to do. So that's really the dynamic of all undefined centers, is they take in and amplify the energies of the centers that are defined around them. The undefined root will take in the pressure to do from the defined root and want to get things done really quickly so that they can be free of the pressure to do. So that ends up looking like rushing to get things done so that they are free of the pressure to do them. In theory, that could work, but in practice, that often ends up, especially in a job setting, that the undefined root just gets known for doing things really quickly, and then they just get more work. And sadly, that is not sustainable for them because it's not their true design, it's their not self. So what is sustainable for someone with an undefined root is to work in alignment with their actual design. So depending on what their chart is, for example, if they have a defined solar plexus and they are a generator, the way for them to work and their pace is going to be more that they're here to do what they feel like, what they have energy available for in the moment, not based on adrenalized, amplified pressure to do. So if you have a defined root, you can be putting pressure on the undefined roots around you without doing anything. This is an aura mechanic. So even just being in your presence, they may have a tendency to rush, to feel even stressed about getting things done. And conversely, it can be really frustrating for the undefined root that the defined root is really incapable of rushing. Even if there is actually a rush, like you have to get somewhere quickly or you're running late, the defined root will not rush. They just have their pace. They work at that pace. One of the funny moments that I recall of the defined versus the undefined root and the amplification of the adrenalized fuel for doing was I was at a workshop and someone around me had lost their pen. And I was in a conversation with someone, we were just chatting, and then there's this other person there frantically looking around for their pen. And my body literally started looking. At the time, I didn't even know what I was looking for, but I was just taken over by this amplified pressure to do, and I was looking everywhere. And then I just noticed what was happening, and I said to myself, wow, like my whole energy was just hijacked by this amplification of someone else's energy that is completely irrelevant to what I'm actually doing in this moment. And if I were to tune in to my strategy and authority as an emotional manifesting generator, what I truly have energy for and what I feel like in this moment is having a conversation. And what's happening with this other person is actually not even relevant to me. And so when I checked in with myself, I was like, oh, what I have energy for is this conversation. And I just focused back on the conversation. Meanwhile, feeling the amplified energy of the root moving through my body. And so that's really the trick with the undefined root, is to allow the energy and the amplification, which can be very intense, of the root energy to just move through your body without acting on it. You can act on it if you choose, if it's to your benefit and you're deciding consciously because that's what you want to do. But doing it out of unconsciousness is the not self. I do find it interesting also that someone like me, for example, a manifesting generator in human design, we're supposedly supposed to be so busy and always wanting to be doing things. But because I have the undefined root, I actually have plenty of time where I just do nothing and where I have no fuel for doing. Versus, for example, a projector with a defined root could very well have everyday, daily energy for maybe 2, 3, 4 hours of work that they like to do at a certain pace, and that's just their rhythm about their fuel for doing on a daily basis. This is why there's so much individuality in human design, and we really can't make these big sweeping statements from type to type without looking at these nuances of the defined and undefined centers. So I would love to hear from you. If you have a defined root, what is your rhythm? Do you notice that you have like a consistent kind of pace at which you go about your day? And if you have an undefined root, how do you experience the amplification of the defined root? And have you been able to move beyond the not self in this situation? I used to operate almost entirely from the not self in the undefined root. And now I find that I very seldomly rush, and that it's not something that I enjoy. But I certainly have moments where I feel it, and it's intense. If you're curious to learn more about your undefined versus your defined centers, I'll put the link to the Not Self playlist over here. And I'm always available for my incredible signature human design and channeled readings. You can find you can find out all about them in the description box below. Okay, now for our final skit. See you soon. Okay, so next address. Where am I going? Okay, and directions. Awesome. Now some nice music. And all right, we're set. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, I don't know where I'm going, but I'll set that up later.